That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Escape from LA, which receives its Blu-ray debut, courtesy of Shout Factory, on March 26th, 2020.
John Carpenter directed this. I know that much. I know his last movie was The Ward.
Yes, which was kind of a surprise because there was a 9-year break after Ghosts of Mars.
His first film was?
His first film was Dark Star. Which
where does Halloween fall in there?
If Dark Star was 74, Halloween was 78.
Okay.
So he also had Assault on Precinct 13 in there. He had his first, what I believe his first film with Kurt Russell was a television movie Elvis, in which Shelley Winters played his mother, which is actually very good and also available on DVD.
Yeah.
But back in the day, so my mother is obsessed with Kurt Russell. And we both met Kurt Russell.
We have, yes.
And we drink his wine.
Gogi.
Yes. But I remember having to pay a pretty penny for Elvis on VHS 20 years ago. So,
so Escape from New York
was the first film, 1981, a cult classic. And this was kind of something that Carpenter and Kurt Russell have been trying to make since the mid-'80s with producer Debra Hill, and then after the big Los Angeles earthquake, the big one in '94, they kind of revamped this project, and it was released in August of '96 and was a huge flop. And I haven't seen it since that year. So
Escape from New York is set in 1997. Escape from LA is set in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about
after the prologue, yeah.
It's about equal time distance apart. Okay, so explain the story of Escape from LA.
So Snake Plissken, who a bank robber who previously was hired to go rescue the president stuck in New York, which was had become a large prison compound, basically, played by Donald Pleasance, who was dying at the time this was made, is now that Los Angeles has been broken off from the U.S., the new president, Cliff Robertson, who is now the president for forever, and has created a theocracy, so very Vladimir Putin, has his daughter Utopia, played by AJ Langer, has stolen a black box. It's basically a doomsday device full of satellite codes that if they're in the wrong hands, they'll shut down the entire world, much like how we're afraid of China's LG5 right now.
Okay.
Anyway, AJ Langer, the Utopia steals the box and disappears into Los Angeles, and they now must hire Snake Plissken, call me Snake, to go get her back. And if he does, all of his past immoral sins will be forgiven.
So in 1998, there was a big earthquake that separated Los Angeles from the country, so it's an island. And in 2013, it's now like a prison island. So all the people who don't follow like the moral code of the new president get sent there.
All the undesirables. So
people who do all the things that are fun.
Yeah. And any non-Christian religions.
Yeah. So his mission is to capture this black box. So the film is like an over-the-top action film. It experiments with some CGI to minimal effect.
Well, the special effects group, who I'm blinking on the name of, had never worked with CGI before, which kind of because this film notoriously has terrible CGI, which was a reason I remember my father hated this film, and I remember having a very negative reaction seeing it as a kid. Okay. But rewatching it, I thought it was a lot of fun.
So what are some highlights? I think watching it in 2020, the CGI is fun.
Yeah.
Because the film is over the top. It looks... I mean, it is over the top, but it's... and the CGI is bad, but I had a good time watching it. It was my first time watching it.
As is the heavy metal soundtrack supplied by Carpenter, which is, he also kind of did that with In the Mouth of Madness, which was...
So one thing I noticed, so Steve Buscemi plays...
Maps to the Stars Eddie.
So he's the guy who used to sell Maps to the Stars, but it's funny because when Snake Plissken gets to LA, he doesn't know where anything is. So he's like, how do I get downtown? How do I go here? So I thought that was fun, but Steve Buscemi is sort of his ally in that. Peter Fonda...
Pipeline.
Plays this man... with this awful hair, who like rides a wave and kind of counsels.
Oh yeah, they infamously ride a wave. They surf on a wave over Wilshire Boulevard, where Kurt Russell jumps off the surfboard onto the back of a speeding convertible driven by Steve Buscemi.
I thought it was fun. It looks bad because the CGI is not good. Also, the scene where Snake first arrives in LA in the submarine, it looks like an old school cartoon.
Well, and right before that, the device that they're putting him in to get there in the submarine reminded me, since we had also rewatched it, of Time Cop, the same kind of device they used to shoot him off.
Sure. Another highlight, I think, is Pam Grier plays a transgender woman named Hershe.
Yeah, which it clicked on me at saying it because it's spelled without a Y.
Yeah, I assumed it was Hershe because she's chocolate, but it's not spelled like that. It's spelled Hershe. That was an interesting character.
Yes.
Not as problematic as I would have imagined it would be, but interesting.
No, yeah, that back in the day when cisgender women playing trans was actually considered kind of daring for the actress.
Yes. And
this is right, this is Pam Grier did this the same year as Larry Cohen's original Gangstas, and this was right before she had her renaissance with Tarantino's Jackie Brown.
Okay. So the man who plays the president, what's his name?
Cliff Robertson.
Okay, so the leader of like LA is named, not Jose Cuervo, what's his name?
Cuervo Jones.
Oh, Cuervo Jones.
Who's clearly like a Che Guevara archetype, played by George Coraface, who is the only member of the cast I'm not familiar with, but except for he's got a supporting role in Not Without My Daughter.
So he seduces the president's daughter, basically by saying, part of his shtick is that he wants to get the world back to how it used to be, and that people like the people stuck in LA shouldn't be like imprisoned. So that's appealing, but he's obviously like a violent person who also wants to be like a leader. So he wants to be a dictator, which obviously wouldn't work either. But when he captures Snake, because Cuervo Jones ends up capturing Snake, he makes him play a game of basketball in order to like get his freedom. So it's either death or like score 10 points in however many minutes.
10 minutes, I think, or something.
Yeah, that scene is laughable.
It is, but what's funny about it, because apparently Kurt Russell was like, I have to make all these shots, it can't be special effects. So all of those hoops he sings are real, including that one he makes from the long distance. But it's actually
impressive.
It's very similar. Basketball scenes in sci-fi movies. A year later, Sigourney Weaver would do that in Alien Resurrection. There's a very famous basketball scene in that as well. So
the ending is he is able to secure, like, Snake Plissken is able to, he gets captured, and the code, the device that would detonate the thing that would detonate the device, so the little black box that they're all trying to find has the technology to shut off all electronic devices in the world. So basically like shut down the world, and then no one will really have any control. So he ends up getting the detonator, and in the very end he detonates this device and turns off all the electronics in the world. So everything just shuts down. The end. So overall, I like the movie. The story's ridiculous, but the ending did not satisfy me at all.
Which Kurt Russell, this is his only writing credit. He wrote the ending.
Well, he shouldn't have written anything else, so that's good.
I don't know. On a rewatch, this doesn't seem as terrible as I remembered it. But there are so many really good scenes that have a clear homage to other ones. Like, I mean, how can you not like Pam Grier and Kurt Russell, like the hang gliding over Disneyland, shooting everybody, which is called Happy Kingdom in this film.
Yeah, this film has a lot of memorable scenes. For that reason alone, I would say it's worth a watch.
Which apparently is an homage to the flying monkeys in Wizard of Oz. Okay. That scene. And then A.J. Langer, who was in Wes Craven, my favorite Wes Craven film, People Under the Stairs, is the president's daughter. And Cliff Robertson is doing a Pat Robertson impersonation, basically. But when they're reunited and he, says, "Go electrocute my daughter," I was reminded of the Robert Aldrich film, The Grissom Gang, when Kim Darby is reunited with her father at the end, the rejection, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what.
I'd recommend it. I would give it 3 out of 5 stars. What would you give it?
The Bruce Campbell scene.
Okay, let's stop there. Okay, so then, Bruce Campbell plays like a Beverly Hills plastic surgeon.
The Surgeon General of
who's now the Surgeon General of
Los Angeles. But all these people that have had too much plastic surgery and depend on the new inmates to come in so they can chop up their bodies and
pilfer parts. That was there are a lot of really good scenes.
Valeria Golino as Taslima, the Muslim. She's an Italian actress, very famous one, who's in Rain Man, playing a Muslim woman from South Dakota.
Okay. We should probably wrap it up.
Stacy Keach as Commander Malloy. Paul Bartel as a congressman. Leland Orser. I don't know. There's a lot of, and then of course like there are a lot of films that have aped these things, like Anna Lily Amirpour's The Bad Batch, Lockout, that film with Guy Pearce from those French directors. I don't know. I wish John Carpenter was still making films, and
well, he's not.
I know. But
what would you give this film?
I would give the film 3.5 out of 5.
All right.
And Shout Factory's Blu-ray release, I'd give 3.5 out of 5. And just so you know, there's all kinds of audio interviews, including with Stacy Keach, Bruce Campbell, Peter Jason, George Coraface, special effects artist Jim McPherson, and David Jones.
All right. Bye.
Bye.